Hey, fifth period. Sorry I'm not there with you today. But we're gonna do class just essentially the same as we normally would. I'm gonna do a lesson with you in our Math 180 books, um, just like we normally would. And then once we're finished with that, you'll spend the rest of the period in the Math 180 software, just like we normally would. Um, and when you get into the software, let's go straight into the learn zone today. I feel like the last couple of times we've been in the software, we've been working on some brain arcade stuff and doing that sort of thing, but I want to make sure that you're also progressing through um like learn zone, explore zone, success zone, right? That takes you through the units of the software, which we're a little bit behind there, from where we really could or should be, just because of various other things we've taken time to do. And so I want to start seeing a little bit more progress there. Um, so I was looking at what lesson is next in the book that I'm about to show you in this video, and I'm just going to tell you straight up, it's kind of a tough one. It links directly with the one that we did yesterday, but it's presented a little bit differently that makes it tough. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. And so if this one is like really hard for you, doesn't quite make sense, um, this is something we could practice multiple times, and um, don't feel too bad if this one's tough right off the bat. So what I'm on right now is actually page 90. This is the page that we did yesterday. It's blank right now in this video because I'm recording this video Monday. When I say yesterday, I'm referring to Tuesday, which for me right now is actually tomorrow. Um, but I'm going to assume that we finish this tomorrow, which is yesterday, Tuesday. And when we do this, we're going to take these numbers, our factors, and we're going to split them. This should say 40 and 8 here. I'm on, in case you missed it when I said it, this is page 90 that I'm looking at, the one that we did yesterday. I'm going to write page 90 so this isn't confusing. This is page 90. I went right into the numbers. I didn't mean to do that. But I'm going to assume that we broke this into 40 and 8 and then 70 and 2. And then we're probably going to write 40, 8, 70, 2. And then we're going to draw 2 lines in these boxes. And we're going to split this rectangle into 4 pieces. And we're going to find the area of each of the 4 pieces by doing this times this times this times this, and then this times this. And those will be our partial products, right? They're products because we multiplied, but they're only part of the answer. And so then we'll add up all the partial products and we'll get our answer. And I really like this diagram because it shows how, okay, if we have these 4 measurements for the outside of this box, and if we multiply them here, 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 and here, here, we get the areas of all the 4 pieces and we add them up. We're doing literally that exact same thing today in this video, but the way we're going to write it, they take away that box for us to work with and instead give us this. So much more confusing looking, right? But this is actually kind of closer to how you're supposed to do it, or how I was taught to do it, or how you would write it normally without a box. And so it's good to practice it. I just apologize ahead of time if you find it really challenging. So I'm on page 92 now. Page 92. I'm going to put a big 92 up there right now. Okay, everybody get to page 92, please. Hopefully you were already on 90 with me a moment ago. So you're on 92 now. And so let's do a couple of these together. And then I'm going to put some time on a clock for you to try the other 2. Like I'll do the 2 on this page. I'll put some time on a clock for you to do the other 2, but then I'll show you my work. So actually, instead of putting time on a clock, I'll probably just ask whoever's teaching this class period to just pause at a certain time and then play it when it's been enough time or whatever. So we're gonna do 23 times 79. Let's do an estimate just to get us started. So estimates are just estimates. They don't have to be perfect. 23 is relatively close to 20. So I'm just going to change 23 to 20. And 79 is relatively close to 80. 2 times 8 is what? You can go ahead and call it out if you know. What's 2 times 8? Yes. I'm sure everyone said 16 and got that perfectly. Great job. And then we throw 2 zeros on there because we got an extra 0 here and an extra 0 here. So we got 1,600. And so all that means is that when we get our actual answer, it needs to be somewhere in the realm of 1,600. Maybe it'll be 1,200 something, 1,300 something. Maybe it'll be 1,800 something, 1,900 something. Okay. But if we get like 47,812, we messed up somewhere. If we get 302, we messed up somewhere. So first it says rename both the factors. What we're doing here is the same splitting that we did on page 90, but they're just giving us a different way to write it. So 23, I'm going to write in these first lines here as 20 plus 3. Okay, so I'm going to all underline the 23 in blue because I'm doing the first part in blue. Let me see if we can get this a little bit bigger. Okay, and then 79, I'm going to split into 70 and 9, and I'll use the purple color for that. 70 plus 9. And so now, just like yesterday's lesson where we had to do 4 multiplications to add them up, we had to go these two, and then these two, and then these two, and then these two. We're doing literally the exact same thing. It's just we don't have that box to work with. So we have to do something that when I learned it in school, we called it FOIL. FOIL stands for, let's hear it. Let's write it. I want you to write what I'm going to write right here because we'll use the space below to finish the question. So it's called FOIL. FOIL. And it stands for first, outer, inner, and last. And it's a way to keep track of multiplying these pieces, just like we multiplied them with that box yesterday. So the first thing I want to do is I want to multiply the first. You know what I should have done is I should have used a different color for each letter. So you know what? I'm gonna put a little green around the F here. So I'm gonna use the green marker to indicate what I mean by first. I mean the first number in the 2 splits I just did. So the 20 is the first number out of 20 and 3. And then 70 is the first number out of 70 and 9. And so we're going to multiply the first numbers, the 20 and the 70. So I'm going to write 20 times 70 here. Okay, next will be outer, and I'll do that in this sort of lavender color here. You can barely tell the difference between the lavender and the blue on the dot cam here. Outer means like the 2 numbers that are on the outsides. So 20 is on the outside because it's way over here, and 9 is on the outside because it's way over here. And so I'm going to connect them with this lavender color that basically looks blue. Okay, and so then I'll write 20 times 9 here. Next, let's do the innermost numbers. So I'll do that with the purple color. I guess it looks more reddish on the screen. Everything always looks red. Like, look at my hand. It doesn't, it looks just white here. And it's so red. Anyways, so the inner numbers are, I feel like I have to wait because you guys are probably laughing just because I have white. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, the inner numbers are the ones in the middle, closest to the inside. And so in this case, that's the 3 and the 70. So we got to do 3 times 70. And then the last numbers are the last from each pair. So the last in the first pair was the 3, and the last in the second pair was the 9. And the only other color I have left is just the regular blue. So I'll do this one in blue. And it's starting to get messy up top. So I will go along the bottom. The 3 and the 9 are what we would consider the last. And look, we made all the different possible pairs, right? We paired the 20 and the 70, the 20 and the 9, the 3 and the 70, and the 3 and the 9. We never pair numbers that came from the same split. Notice the 20 and the 3 were never paired in a multiplication because they came from the same split. They both came from 20 and 23. We also never paired the 70 and the 9 because they came from the same number, the 79. They don't need to multiply against each other. They're part of the same factor. So all the other possible pairs are made though. 20 and 70, 20 and 9, 3 and 70, 3 and 9. And doing FOIL, first, outer, inner, last, is a way to help you remember how to make each pair. If you just start with like, okay, let me do the first ones, the outer ones, the inner ones, and the last ones. So now let's get our partial products. 20 times 70. First, do what is 2 times 7. Yes, it is indeed 14. Okay, so 20 times 70 equals 14. Let's put 2 extra zeros on there. We got 1400. Now you should be writing this neatly. Remember, we were talking about that last week about doing this part neatly and with things lined up so that you can add them more easily at the end. All right, so now we're going to do 20 times 9. What's 2 times 9? Yes, it is indeed 18. I feel like Dora the Explorer. What's this? You did a great job. And you're probably sitting there quietly. You're probably not even giving me answers. I don't know. Maybe you are. Anyways, 20 times 9. So we got 9 times 2 is 18. You throw that extra 0 on there, we got 180. And look, I'm writing it so that my place values are lined up. 0 and 0, 0 and 8, 4 and 1. All right, next we had 3 times 70. Okay, so it's 3 times 7. Yes, it's 21. So we throw an extra 0 on there, we get 210. So line it up. 2, the 1, the 0. And lastly, we just got 3 times 9, which is 27. Line it up though. 7 goes on the end, 2 in that second position. If you've got it lined up nicely, then it's not so bad to add it all up. But if you write it all everywhere and things are out of line and scrunched up, then you probably make a mistake when you're trying to add it all up. All right, so we got 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 7, which is, yes, it's 7. And we got 8 plus 1 plus 2. It's probably easier if you do the 8 plus 2 first, and then the 1. It's 11. So I put my 1 here, carry my other 1 up there. 1 plus 4 plus 1 plus 2. Hopefully you got an 8 from that. And then we just got this 1 way over here that has nothing to add to it. So we got 1,817. We can just go and box that. You know, it's fine for me, which is reasonably close to our estimate, right? I said, you know, it'd be kind of close to 1,600. 1817. All right, let's do the other one. I'm just going to skip the estimate this time, though. Let's just get to work. So I got my 4 colors again. I'll try to use these strategically. So we're going to rename the factors. So let's split the 47 into 40 and 7. Now remember, we won't ever multiply 40 times 7 when we're doing the partial products because they came from the same number. And then we got 88, which will break into 80 and 8. So we should never find ourselves doing an 80 times 8 because they came from the same number. And now I'm going to follow this again. First, outer, inner, last. So I find the first number from each split I just did. The 40 and the 80 are the first numbers in both splits. So let's do 40 times 80. And I'm not going to worry about the color so much. Let's just do it. We got 40 times 80. All right, so do 4 times 8, or 8 times 4, whichever one you like better. Yes, it is indeed 32. And we throw 2 extra zeros on there. So we got 3,200. All right, next. Oh, and I should have written it here. My bad. So we did 40 times 80. Okay, so that was the first in FOIL. All right, now we go to outer. So that means the numbers that are on the outside edges of both splits we did. That's the 40. Sorry, I almost messed it up. I'm off the screen. The 40 is to the outside and the 8 is to the outside. So we're doing 40 times 8, which is the exact same multiplication we just did, right? Except one fewer zero. So the answer is going to be exactly what we just got, but with one fewer zero. Look at how I'm lining it up. Everything's lined up to the right. Nothing under that 3,000 because I got no thousands in this one. All right, next we do the inner numbers. Those are the ones closest to the center. That's your 7 and your 80. Okay, what's 7 times 8? You can think about that while we write it. You're thinking about 7 times 8, even though we're doing 7 times 80. You should have got 56. We throw an extra zero on there. We got 560. I'm writing it neatly and lining it up. And then lastly, we have last, the L in FOIL. So I'm going to get the last number for from each split, which was the 7 and the 8. So we're going to do 7 times 8. It was a really bad 7. 7 times 8. And you just did 7 times 8 a second ago in order to be able to answer 7 times 80. So hopefully you've already got that. That is 56. Add all those up. I'll give you a second to do it, and then I'll show you what I get. All right, let's see what it is. I get a 6. 3, carry the 1. Let's see here. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 is 6, plus 5 is 11. So I'll carry that 1. So I got 4136. Hopefully you got the same thing as me. All right, so whoever's teaching the class, what I'd like you to do is pause the video here and allow students however much time to try to complete the other 2 questions on page 93. If they have time, they can do the exit ticket, but I'm not requiring it. I would think that this should take 8 minutes for most students. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to tell. But yeah, so just unpause when it's been a reasonable amount of time or when everyone's done. No more than like 8 minutes though, I think, because I want them to spend time on the computer. All right, so hopefully it was paused there. We're just coming back from a pause now. And I'm gonna go through these a little bit more quickly because hopefully you've already done these. We're just checking work now. So I'm splitting 61 into 60 plus 1, and I'm splitting 69 into 60 plus 9. And now I'm doing my first, which is 60 and 60. So I got 60 times 60. And I got my outers, which is the 60 and the 9. So 60 times 9. Now I'm doing my inners, which is the 1 and this 60. So I got 1 times 60. And then I do my last, which is the 1 and the 9. So I got 1 times 9. And so your partial products should have been 60 times 60. 60 times 9. 1 times 60, or 60 times 1, whatever. And 1 times 9. 6 times 6 is 36. Throw a couple extra zeros on there. We got 3,600. 6 times 9 is 54. Toss an extra zero on there. We got 540, and I'm lining it up nicely and taking the time and effort to write it neatly. And then we got 1 times 60, which is 60. And we got 1 times 9, which is 9. We add them all up. Bunch of zeros and a 9. A 4 and a 6 makes 10. Toss that 1 up there. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 5 is 12. Carry that 1. Looks like we got 4209. Good job if you got that right. These are tough. If you were able to do that and you got that right, good job. All right. And one more. Let's switch to purple. Red, as it looks on this doc cam. 38. I'm going to split that up into 30 and 8. And then 73. I'm going to split it into 70 and 3. Let me do my first, which is the 30 and the 70. 30 times 70. Let me do my outers, which is the 30 and the 3. Let me do my inners, 8 times 70. And let me do my last, 8 times 3. So your partial products are 30 times 70, 30 times 3, 8 times 70, and 8 times 3. Oops, I was looking at the screen when I wrote that equal sign, so it turned out so weird. All right, 30 times 70. I'm doing 3 times 7, which is 21. I tossed 2 extra zeros on there. 30 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Put an extra 0 on there. I got 90. 8 times 70. I do the 8 times the 7, which is 56. Toss an extra 0 on there. I got 560. And 8 times 3 is 24. Let's add it up. Looks like I got a 4. 9 and 6 make 15. Plus 2 is 17. I write my 7. I carry my 1. 1, 1, 5 makes another 7. Looks like we got 2774. Again, if you were able to get that, good job. These are hard. All right. Please spend the rest of the period in the Learn Zone, Explore Zone, Success Zone portions of the Math 180 software, and I will see you tomorrow.